Hello everyone, I welcome you all once again and I am very happy to be again with you.
Is Unit 1 Reading B. It is written by Shiv Khera. Every success story is also a story of great failures. Every success story is also a story of great failures. When we look at a successful person, generally in the society, we feel that this successful person did not have any failures. This successful person did not fail anywhere. He had been successful all throughout his life. But here, the writer Shiv Khera brings to us as how people succeeded in their life after so many failures. How people succeeded after so many problems, troubles and so many disturbances in their life. So Shiv Khera was an inspirational speaker and writer who had written so many books, and our today's lesson is taken from the book You Can Win, where he has mentioned about so many people who had failed, and he consoles the people, those who have failed in their life, those who think that this life is no good to them or this life is nothing worth to live. So here he gives hope through this lesson to all the people how they are supposed to live their life, how they are supposed to go ahead through their life. Now the writer, the author Shiv Khera talks about very great people who have failed in their life but became successful despite their failures. So now let us look at so many people who have really succeeded in their lives. And here Martin Luther Senior, he says about, so these failures are not there to really become dejected or something else. They are there to make us better, to strengthen our life. And here, if you look at these people, the stories of successful people, the first one is Abraham Lincoln, who was the President of America. And according to Abraham Lincoln, the defeat or the failure is a deter to success but not a dead end. If you look at the word deter, as you travel on the road is under repair. You take another road and then reach the destination. We don't simply change the road if you are supposed to travel to Vijayawada or Mumbai. So you just take another road to go. So you don't change and do not go to Pune or some other place. So in that way, so here defeat is a deter, a kind of side path for us to reach the place, but that is not the dead end. So now, how this particular person, Abraham Lincoln, who really had so many failures. If you look at here, these are all the failures that I have written here, and only at the age 52 he could succeed in his life. Let us look at what are the different failures that he had in his life. First, at age 21, being a young man, he started his business and he failed in the business. He had great loss, and he just contested in legislative race at age 22, and he also was defeated in the legislative race at age 22, and here he again started a business at age 24, and he again failed in the business. He got a great loss, and he also lost his sweetheart at age 26, and he was greatly depressed by the loss of the sweetheart. And then he at age 27 got nervous breakdown and he could not really get up from his place, or he couldn't really walk or do anything else. And even then he overcame that particular aspect of nervous breakdown, and he again contested in the congressional race at age 34, and After that, he got failed at age 34 and he continued his successful race to begin or to succeed in his life. And at age 45, again he contested in senatorial race, but again failed in the senatorial race. And then he contested as vice president at age 47, but he again failed in his congressional race at age 47. And again he contested in the senatorial race at age 49, again he failed. All this time he had been only a failure, and at age 52 he became the president of United States of America. And he had done so many great things after he became president, and he also was assassinated for the great deeds that he had done to United States of America. And if you look at all these were the failures of Abraham Lincoln, and at age 52 itself he became a successful person. So here we cannot really call them as failures, but we only look at this particular aspect called success. So failure should not become a dead end to us. It should become a kind of deter in our day-to-day life. So next we have a Levi Forrest, who was the inventor of Triodes tube, and he invented it in 1913. And before he invented this Triodes tube, the district attorney, they blamed him for misleading public to buy the company shares. So they just accused him, and then they threatened him not to invent that particular product called a Triodes tube. But despite the threatening, despite the district attorney, he still invented this particular invention called the Triodes tube later on, which was used in so many things. And if he might have not invented this Triodes tube, the modern equipment, whatever we have, so many might not have been invented. So here, though he was threatened, though he was frightened by so many people, but still he did not stop his successful journey. And next we have Wright brothers. If we are really traveling around the world today, it is because of Wright brothers and their invention. In 1907, they said that we would invent a machine which would be lighter than air, which would fly in the air, and people really laughed at them, and the New York Times editorial questioned their wisdom and their knowledge, and then they said that it is highly impossible, and these people, in order to gain the popularity, they are simply misleading the people. But they took it as a challenge, and it was so challenging task for them, and within just 1 week they could fly in the air, and then they could show to the world that this is possible to fly in the air, a machine which can fly in the air, which is heavier than the air. So they proved what they really said to the people, and thus the invention of the aeroplane was done. And next we speak about KFC, the delicious food. If we talk about nowadays, we simply talk about KFC. And this particular KFC proved that his age is no bar, because all throughout his life, for almost 65 years in his life, he had only a pretty jobs, he had only a adjusting life, but still at the end he had succeeded in his life. Up to 65 years, up to his retirement, he did only petty jobs. He had a $100 check and a beaten up car. That was his possession at the end of his career or job. He wanted to do something which will make him to live better even after his retirement. So with the check that was given by the government and a beat up car, he wanted to do something
So he remembered about his mother's recipe and he cooked his mother's recipe and he started going from door to door in order to sell this recipe. If you and I, if we were there in the place of Colonel Sanders, we would wander 1, 2, 10, 20 houses. Thereby we say, no, it is not my cup of tea and it is not possible with me, we would put aside. But here, if you look at Colonel Sanders, he wandered more than 1,000 houses before he got his first order. And we have to consider the age factor also here. At the age of 65, he was really very patient to walk around the houses and then sell them his product. And then once he got his first order, that created a history. And if you look at the world today, KFC is located all around the world, having more than 20,000 outlets. And that is what the beginning. Now, should we call Colonel Sanders a failure or a success? So, success does not easily come, we have to work for it. And then, here, he just prepared his mother's recipe and was succeeded. So now, it is our turn to think what exactly the success should be. And when we get a failure, we should not be really taken up by that particular failure. Now, let us look at Walt Disney, another one more famous person. Walt Disney is very famously known to the world as famous cartoonist. And he is known and his famous character to be known as Mickey Mouse. And the moment if you tell to the children Mickey Mouse, they are very happy, they are very enthusiastic to look at the cartoon channel Mickey Mouse. And you all know very well how famous it is all throughout the world. But this particular person called Walt Disney, who created Mickey Mouse, also faced so many rejections in his initial days. No person really called him, no person recognized his talent of painting and artistic work. And as he was very much disappointed, one day a church minister, a church priest, called him to paint the church walls. And he went to church to paint the church walls. And he was given a small room, mouse-infested room. And as he was given this mouse-infested room, so he started working out on the paintings. And he just looked at a small mouse which was in the corner, which was something peculiar compared to the other mouse. So its mouth a little bit further. And then when he looked at that, a thought flashed in his mind. And he started working out on that. Later on he developed it a little bit and then he invented Mickey Mouse. After that it was a sensation and a history, and even today in the cartoon world Mickey Mouse is a sensation. So despite his failure he could still achieve success. And then next we go to a very famous personality without whom there were so many inventions which were not there in the world. And he is known for his wonderful attitude. He is Thomas Alva Edison, who has the greatest inventions in the world to his credit. And when he was small, he was partially deaf and he had only just 3 months of schooling, and after that he was sent out of the school. His teacher sent a letter to his mother saying that your Tommy is too stupid and he is good for nothing. And his mother's attitude is also very noteworthy in this regard. His mother did not take it negative and did not blame the child. And his mother said that it is not my son Tom who is stupid. It is you who could not understand him, and I will make him to understand the things. And she started motivating him positively. She said, your teacher wrote wonderfully about you and you are a genius personality and a genius person. Your teacher wanted you to be at home and then learn so many things. And Elsewhere, Thomas Alva Edison writes that when almost at the end of his life, he became a great scientist and invented so many things. One day, he was walking through his big laboratory. There was a small room at the end of his laboratory where all the old things were dumped. He just opened a trunk which was very old and saw the letter which his teacher wrote to his mother. So he wanted to see how greatly the teacher wrote about him. But when he opened the letter, he saw there was only a negative comment in that letter. So he was very happy about his mother, who really motivated him and made a great scientist. Dear parents, you motivate your children. Who knows, they will become great personalities in future. So your role is very, very important in motivating your children. Here, if you look at, his mother taught him everything at home, and then his attitude is so great that he worked more than 10,000 times to just invent the filament of a bulb. To invent the small filament of a bulb, he worked more than 10,000 times, and the light that you see today is because of him. And then here, almost at the end of his life, he lost his factory on fire, and the people all, they came because he had very little insurance. The factory is lost, and whatever all his great effort that he put on the laboratory, he lost it. So the people asked him, are you really happy after losing all these things? How do you feel? And then he said, see, I am very happy because all my mistakes are burnt, and I can no more have any mistakes. And all people thought that he became mad or he can no more have any sense. But his attitude was so great that within 1 week or within 2 weeks after he lost his factory, he invented a great invention called phonograph. So that was his attitude. And then he didn't lose hope at any stage of his life, and that is what is known for his great attitude. So that is what Thomas Alva Edison. Now let us look at the next one more person, that is Henry Ford, and this name is very well known in the cars company, and he was the founder of Ford Car Company. And here his failure was that when he invented or when he made his first car, he forgot to put the reverse gear. If you forget reverse gear, what happens? But do we really call it as a failure because he forgot to put the reverse gear? Because he had made so many wonders with Ford company later on. And he also broke in his health at age 40. Even then he did not go back. He still continued his work. And then he succeeded later and reached top position in selling of cars, and we all know about the Ford company. And then we have next one more personality called as Ludwig van Beethoven. So this Beethoven is a German composer and a pianist who really produced a wonderful music. But in initial days, people said that he had no talent for music, and they insulted him saying that there is nothing good. But still, he also gave one of the best music to the world and really made the people to love music. So this is about Ludwig van Beethoven. Next, we talk about successful people face many setbacks before getting huge success. And here we have to note a wonderful thing, that successful people don't do great things, but they do small things with great care. That is what is more important here. So whatever we do, we have to do with profound likeness. We have to do with whatever all the strength that we can put in. Here, setbacks should be as a driving force. The more, this is what Here, Shiv Khera tells about failing forward. He uses a very particular sentence there, failing forward. The more you fail, the more you have to proceed forward. If you look at an ant, the more you push the ant back, it comes with much more force, with much more energy. So you should be in the same way as an ant comes forward. So it should be failing forward. And the next, find courage and faith to overcome the setbacks. You should have faith, you should have courage within yourself to overcome these failures. Failures are like waves in the sea, they come and go. But you should not lose hope and courage when you get the setbacks or the failures. And there are two things, they really pull us back. They are doubt and the fear. They shock circuit the mind. How when you get power shock, how you feel. In the same way, when you get fear and doubt in your mind, if you doubt whether I would be able to perform this task, then you would never be able to achieve in the life. So thus, you should never get fear and doubt when you want to do something. And here, you should only become victors. You should only become successful people, but not victims. You should not be affected by the failure. You should not be affected by the setback. So you should always become victors or successful people, but not the victims or the affected people. And now here, a burning desire is the key to one's success. How strong you are in your desire, that much strong success you get. If your desire is weak, then you cannot produce great results. As a small fire cannot produce great heat, the weak desire can never produce great results. If you want to cook food for 100 people, you put a small candle under it, you will never be able to cook food. In the same way, when you want to achieve something great and you doubt yourself that you cannot, or you just doubt yourself whether I will be able to achieve, you will never be able to achieve. So thus, we have to have a burning desire, a desire which always is there in yourselves. And then, we can't get great results with a weak desire. So we should have strong desire to achieve great results. And then here, we have a Socrates' secret to success. One day, a young man approached Socrates and asked Socrates, what is the secret to success? How would I be able to get success? As you know, Socrates is a Greek philosopher who guided so many young people all throughout his life. And here, this young man wanted to know secret to success. Socrates did not lecture him or did not tell him anything very great. So he told him, you accompany me tomorrow when I go to the river bank. The young man, so though as he was very much interested, so he accompanied Socrates to the river the next morning. And Socrates took him into the river. As water came almost up to his neck, he started ducking him into the water. He started dipping him into the water. He put him in the water so forcefully. The young man started struggling and Socrates did not release him. The last minute, the young man started turning pale, turning blue, and at the end, Socrates released the hand and the young man got up. He started breathing very long and Socrates asked him, what did you feel when you were, what did you want when you were there in the water? So he said, hey. Then Socrates told him, if a person wants success as badly as air, you would get it. When you were there, you only wanted air. You did not want success, you did not want money, you did not want anything. You wanted only air. If you also focus on success without looking here and there, without focusing on unnecessary things, you would get it. When you want success as badly as air, you would get success. Here it is, failures are not at all a setback, or failures are not at all a kind of pulling factor in our life. They should become as driving forces in our life. I hope you have really benefited from this lesson. I hope you would become a successful person in your life. So thank you one and all for being with me. See you in the next video.